thing it is be sure that they have the right render elements, right? So in this particular case, I'm going to use, for example, I have the masking ID, really important. Of course, also, sorry, this one. Also, the CDEP also is really important because this is going to help us to improve the overall depth. I'm not going to create any out of focus effect or any field of depth of field. No.
Mm-hmm.
Just in order to control which part of the interior is going to be brighter and which part of the interior is going to be darker. Okay, so if you remember in the exteriors, we did something really similar. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so one of the first steps that I'm going to do definitely is you can use the masking ID, right? You can
Mm-hmm.
select the magic wand, enable anti-aliasing, disable contiguous, do a click, and there you go. With one single click, you are going to select the same color everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
With this selection, it's really easy. Create a mask, right? So create a mask, and there you go. Yeah, simple as that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to replace the overall background. We're going to replace directly in Photoshop. If you remember, there are a couple of considerations if you want to replace in Corona or if you want to replace in Photoshop. Depends of how reflective is going to be the materials in your interior. For example, if you have a floor, let's see, a marble floor, the marble
Mm-hmm.
is really
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
reflective, right?
True.
So probably that marble floor is going to catch the reflections from outside. If that is the
Mm-hmm.
case, Xenia, of course, I highly recommend 100% do the replacement directly in Corona. But
Uh-huh.
if you have surfaces or materials that are not really reflective, or the reflection is really diffuse, like this one, can you see it's not a perfect reflection? It's not like a mirror. Yeah, it is reflective, but the reflective is already polished, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the best decision is replace the background directly in post-production. Okay, so that is the consideration that I highly recommend keep in mind. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
just in order to optimize your personal workflow. Okay, so I found this image on the web. Yeah, it's an image of a building.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what I did is just scale it, right? Put it in a right position, and there you go. Of course, at this moment looks 100% fake,
Mm-hmm.
right? The light is not matching. Yeah, look like a mess. So now I'm going to show you how to do the replacement. Okay. If you remember in one of the very first lessons, I was talking about this very specific top. I was talking about about this very specific topic called. Do you remember the bracketing? And the bracketing is this kind of technique that allows you to control the exposure outside, right? Do you remember
Mm-hmm.
bracketing, interior photography? And I highly recommend that take a look to the reference because, for example, when the window looks like this, that means no bracketing,
Yeah.
right? Bracket. When you have something like that, like in this picture or this picture actually, this is like a medium bracketing, right? This is what I
Mm-hmm.
highly recommend. Yeah, you are going to see the exterior, but the exterior, as you can see, looks a little bit without contrast and a little bit desaturated also, right? That is going to give you the idea that that landscape is really far away, right? But what I do not recommend, definitely, I do not recommend, is this kind of bracketing that is absolutely aggressive
Fake.
and
Mm-hmm.
fake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or something like this, or something like this looks absolutely fake. Yeah, or like this one, looks more like a picture rather than the outside. Can you see?
Mm-hmm.
So I highly recommend avoid this kind of perfect exteriors views because in real life the exterior always is going to look affected by the fog, by the exposure, right? Can you see?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this is the proper bracket. So what we need to do is just basically apply the same approach. How we're going to do it? Well, quite easy. We are going to need only 3 adjustment layers in this specific order. So we're going to start with hue saturation. I'm going to use this one in order to match the saturation. I'm going to use color balance in order to control the temperature or the color of the image. And we're going to use finally exposure. And exposure is going to be the final touch We are going to increase the exposure. We're going to create the wash out effect. We're going to reduce the contrast in the image, and that is going to allow you to create the perfect match. Okay, great. So all of these, Xenia, must be connected, right? Must be connected to the layer below. Yeah, like this. Great. Let's start with saturation. What do you think I have to do with the saturation? Increase or decrease?
Increase to get it more light.
Decrease, right? Decrease.
To create it more
Decrease.
light.
No, this layer, the saturation,
Yeah, yes.
is going to
Sorry,
allow
sorry.
you to,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. To get out it, yeah, for sure, because
yeah.
it's
This is
yeah,
going to
yeah.
allows us to control the saturation. As you
Yeah,
can see,
genau,
the exterior,
saturation to create more light.
exactly, exactly. So the saturation outside looks more saturated, right? So what I need to do is just decrease a little bit until until I complete a match. You see? For example, at this moment, the saturation looks the same. Now let's turn on, turn off, and see. Yeah, looks better. You see the saturation outside looks the same saturation that I have inside. Okay. Now let's play with the lightness slider. What do you think I need to do? Reduce the lightness or increase the lightness? Add
Increase.
more lightness. Increase, definitely increase. How much? Well, just a little bit. Can you see? In order to create a far away effect, can you see? The wash out effect. Of course, I do not recommend too much. Can you see? Just a little bit, something like that. It's perfectly fine. Yeah. Just in one single step, let's check how strong it is to change. One single step. You see? Okay. Now with the color balance. Now with the color balance. With the color balance, we're going to control the color outside. So for example, you can choose something, I don't know, more colder or more warmer or well, any color that you want. So for this particular example, I always try to understand that the light that comes from outside, the majority of the time, it's cold. So I'm going to add a slightly amount of, of blue in the midtones and also in the shadows. Yeah, it's just a little bit. I don't know if you can see the image. I don't know if you can see
I
the
see the
change, but
different. Yeah, I see the
yeah,
different.
this is before and after. Yeah, actually, you're going to see in the shadows. Take a look in the shadows. Looks a little bit more colder. Yeah, there you go. Great. Okay, so I correct the temperature in the picture, and now finally let's play with exposure. Yeah, it's of course super obviously that we need to overexpose the picture, right? So how do you know, or how you can know how much exposure you need to introduce? Well, very simple. First of all, what you need to check, and this is the secret, it's see the edge of the edge of the window frame. Can you see how exposed,
Yeah.
overexposed it is? So this is going to give you the idea how much exposure you need to increase, and at the same time, how much gamma you need to add, like that, for example. Can you see now the match? Yeah, it's exactly the same exposure that I have in the edge of the window frame. And there you go. Yeah, there you go. Now with the full picture, you can just adjust by hand, and there you go. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure, it's absolutely different kind of situations what we
yeah.
have to solve.
Let's turn off the corrections. Sorry. Now let's turn off. Now let's turn on, and it's a huge difference. Can you see now the exposure that we have outside is a really nice bracketing effect because we can see the exterior, right? We can see the exterior, but the exterior,
Yeah.
as I mentioned before, has this kind of wash out effect, the saturate effect. Can you see? Very, very kind of similar to this one. But in this one, it's a little bit, it's more visible the exterior because the windows are bigger. In this one, the windows are smaller. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, genau.
Yeah, and finally, what we need to do is probably we can create an empty layer. We're going to put it under the background replacement. We're going to fill it with white. Okay, we're going to fill it with white. And now I'm going to create a mask in the image, the background image, put it the mask, and create a gradient. With the gradient, you're going to play with black and white color. Okay, press Shift and check this. Sorry. is in the opposite way. To put like 65 and check this. What I'm trying to do is like a transition in the line in order exactly in order that kill the flatness because without the mask, can you see? It's the same intensity outside. Yeah. Well, with this is better. Give me 1 second, please. Give me 1 minute.
For sure.
Okay, give me 1 minute. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the gradient, the linear gradient, and we're going to play it and create a very soft transition like that. Yeah. If you want a little bit less, if it's just too much exaggerate, the idea is create a very, very nice transition. Avoid to keep it flat. Can you see? When you create a transition, it looks even more natural, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Background replacement is done. Now let's continue with the next step. You can put all of this in one group. So select all your layers by pressing Shift.
Short question, Santi.
Yeah.
At what time you said it's what kind of citations we use it actually? Because I mean that for example we have a lot of glasses, yeah, and the
Uh-huh.
problem is that when we change background,
Uh-huh.
we have here for example the citation with lamp, yeah, and with
Mm-hmm.
some glasses on the window and somewhere, and I mean that it's going to get you more work for this because after you need to work with glasses to
Exactly. If you have a lot of glass and reflective material, definitely
yeah.
the best solution must be the replacement directly in Corona. Yeah,
So it's
definitely I highly recommend. Yeah,
yeah.
because can you imagine fake the reflection in all the glasses and all
Oh.
surfaces? It's going to
I
be like
cannot.
a yeah, it's going to be like a nightmare try to do that in post. And at the end of the day,
Mhm.
probably if you are finished, if you fake all the reflections, it's going to feel fake because you need to be really accurate with these kind of things. I used to have this mentor in Italy that he used to tell me that the eye is a bastard, and I couldn't understand at this moment why he expressed in that way, but he told me that the eye recognize every single mistake. So when you create
Yeah.
something that is wrong, something that the eye is not going to feel natural, so the eye is going to tell you, your eye is going to tell you,
Mhm.
this is wrong, this is fake, or this is not true, this is not realistic. So
Mhm.
that is the reason why we need to be really careful with this kind of detail. This is an amazing question, actually. You have so many glasses. For example, let me show you one of these examples. For example, in this project, in the Meteora project, yeah, one of the shots that basically I have a lot of glass. Yeah, like this one. Can you imagine replace the reflection in all the
Mhm.
glass surface?
No.
Yeah, could be not impossible, but really hard and difficult to do that.
It will
So
be
because of
difficult to
that,
recognize how it will be actually. Yeah, how by the
exactly,
physics.
exactly, exactly. So I
Mhm.
prefer to replace in the reflection override. Of course,
Mhm.
right? The reflection
Mhm.
override that is in Corona render setup, and I use the same HDRI but the cloudy part. And that creates a very interesting effect because as you can see in the background, I have the clear part of the sky, the blue sky, really
Mhm.
nice. But in
Mhm.
the reflection, I rotate the HDRI and I catch the cloudy parts.
Mhm.
Because I was thinking, show the same blue in the glass. Probably could be a little bit boring, don't you think?
Yeah, I
Uh,
understand for
it's
sure. I understand.
exactly blue in the background and blue in the reflection in the glass. So too much predictable in my opinion. So I use the same HDRI. I rotate it until I found the cloudy part, and I put in the cloudy part, affecting in the reflection override the slot. Interesting, right? So it's
Yeah,
very simple.
it's really cool, and
Yeah,
it's a good solution actually. I think it's really perfect how it's look
yeah,
and very
yeah,
artistic.
exactly. Yeah. Also here,
Oh, that's
as you can see,
they're amazing.
it's catching the reflections from the warm spot, not completely from the sun, but with the warm side. Can you
Mhm,
see?
mhm.
And this little part is, I think, is from the architecture. This little part from here. So play with the reflections is very tricky, Xenia.
Mhm.
Very, very tricky, especially if you are thinking about to replace in Photoshop when you have like these kind of scenes with so many glass on it and so many different colors in the reflection. Can you see in this
Yeah.
case, reflection is like a light blue, but in this case, the reflection is dark blue.
Mhm.
Here is dark blue, and here once again is light blue. That is very, very tricky to replicate in Photoshop. Yeah, very, very tricky to replicate that. Okay, great. Okay, so let's
You
put it to
uh,
using. Yeah, tell me.
just short question. Did you use
Uh,
for this amazing project? I remember that you said that you use a special website with a scanner when they create so realistic, and you use all the
exactly,
stones too by them.
exactly. The stones are coming in in a one single model. Let me show you. It's called let me put here
Because
stones.
I will send you some of my work before a lesson, like a homework.
Yeah,
And
the
you know what?
stone.
The stones I was create like a crazy, and I see that they didn't look so well how I would like that they will look actually. And I was created
Yeah,
by myself by the modeling, and I think no one time more.
the stones that I used was something really similar to this. Let me show you. I think it's somewhere here. Must be. It's like a 3D surface. It's like this. This is the kind of model that I use.
Mhm, mhm,
Can you see? It's this one.
mhm,
Advantages, super simple because it's only merge inside the file and that's it. You don't need to apply any
mhm,
material. You don't need, the only thing that probably you can play with is the size. You can
mhm.
scale it, of course, you can rotate it and things like that. So what I did was like a download surfaces with little stones like this.
And
And I use
they're
this,
separate everyone.
yeah, and this is what I use like here.
Mhm. I
Sorry,
see.
let me show you. Yeah, it's like this. Of course, here the stones looks a little bit colder because the light from the
Yeah, for
moonlight
sure.
is cold, but definitely is a similar surface like I'm using here. Yeah, that is going to save your life because you don't need to create, the little imperfections on the terrain. You don't need to modeling every single stone, or even worse, try to scattering, and the scattering is not going to look so random like this. Yeah, if
Yeah,
you
it's
see
true.
the surf,
Scattering or forest, so it's different. It cannot to be
exact,
so amazing quality. Actually, we need to be
exact.
honest.
So, and actually, if you see the price for this one, for example, is 4 points.
Mhm,
I think that at the moment that you open a new account here, because you need to open an account and a
mhm,
profile and everything inside Quixel, sorry. I think they are going to give you something like a 50 points
mhm.
every single month. You paid the
If it's like
the
this, it's
price, the
amazing.
subscription, yeah, the subscription, and
Mhm.
every single month the guys are going to give you something around 50 or 100
Really?
points, I guess. Yeah, every
No
single
way.
point. And the best part is you can save. For example, if you don't spend your
Mhm,
whole points, for example, you're spending, the guys give you 50, let's say, and
mhm,
you
mhm,
spend 20. The
mhm.
other 30 points are going to be available for the next month. So the next month you're
Really?
not going to have only 50, you're going to have 80. 30 plus 50, you're going to have 80, and so
Seriously?
on.
So cool.
Yeah, so cool. So at the end, I think I finished with 300 and something else points. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but of course, definitely the detail with these stones are absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Believe it or not, let me show you something really interesting. Not about this project, but another project. You are not going to believe this, but definitely it's true. In this project that I did, of course, a
Oh, one
personal
of my
project,
favorite.
thank you very much. You are not
One of
going to
beautiful
believe that
favorite.
I'm using, I download one single rock and the same
Really?
rock, same rock is I rotate it and scale it and put it diagonal in the background. I scale it even more, and the other side that is down, I put it here on the right. It's the same rock.
Wow. By
It's
this website
exactly
that you said, because I was trying to found and I didn't found. Oh my God.
it's the same. It's same rock, but I
Wow.
put it and I rotate it and I scale it in the way that repetition is not going to be visible. Yeah. So yeah, you don't have to spend all your points buying, a lot of 3D models, scan it, 3D models. You can buy one, and depends of the concept of your project. Probably you can take a lot of advantage of only one single model, and you can just copy, rotate it, create a mirror effect in 3ds Max, and place it in different positions, and it's not going to be visible the repetition.
Super.
Yeah, that is my advice. So yeah, you don't have to buy many models. With one model that you can see here, sorry, in the image that I send you, you can pretty much do amazing things. But as I mentioned before, depends on the concept of the image there.
For
Of
sure.
course,
For sure.
of
For
course.
sure.
Great. So let's continue. Okay,
Thank
the
you.
background is
Thank you very
done.
much.
Yeah, welcome. So I'm going to create a folder. I'm going to call this one background. By the way, is this file I'm going to send you at the end of the lesson, okay? Or you
Okay,
can
super.
have it as a material support. Okay, now let's see how is the values, how is the general attention in my image. How you can measure where the attention is going. How you can measure which are the main parts with the human eye it's going directly. Well, very simple. Just put a black and white layer at the top. And now, could you tell me where the attention is going?
For the most light things.
Exactly, where the highlights are affecting the most, right? So
Mm-hmm.
basically in the center of the picture,
Mm-hmm.
here on the wall, here on the other wall, and here in the foreground.
And the foreground.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the CDEP in order to reduce that highlights affectation and put all the attention of the picture in the center. Because in the center is the main subject, of course, is the coach, the sofa, right? So that is what I'm going to do, okay? So the first thing that I'm going to do is play with my CDEP. I'm going to duplicate it. Now this is duplicated. I'm going to add it levels. And now I'm going to use the CDEP as a 3D mask. So I need to isolate the foreground, okay? I need to isolate the foreground. So what I'm going to do is do like this, yeah? And the white part must affect mainly the foreground, okay? Because this is the area where I need to reduce the light. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, looking good, right? Great. Now select both of them and merge in one single layer. Select both of them, right click, and merge layers, and there you go. Now I'm going to put this one, mask for the foreground. Okay. Now check this. I'm going to create an exposure. Exposure is the best adjustment layer for this. Now I need to put this layer that I call it mask foreground. I need to put it as a mask in this exposure. How to do it? Very simple. If you remember, Control A, select all, Control C, copy, go back to your exposure layer, but this time go to the channels of your exposure layer, enable the little eye icon, and Control B. Yeah, we use the same technique in exteriors, if you remember. Yeah, there you go. And now check this. I can control the exposure in the foreground, and I'm going to reduce it until the attention goes to the center. Can you see? With this technique, the correction is absolutely seamless. It's absolutely seamless. Yeah, now you are only recognized when I turn on, turn off the layer.
It's a little bit like vignetting now.
Exactly. It's better than vignetting
Yeah,
because the
yeah, for sure.
vignetting The vignetting is only applying in the corners, and the
Exactly.
vignetting is not going to respect the depth. It's the
Like a
same.
smart vignetting.
Exactly. That is a really nice name. Exactly. It's like a smart vignetting. Yeah, there you go. And now I'm going to do the same, but this time I'm going to do the same for the background. So once again, I select the original CDEP,
Mm-hmm.
duplicate, Control J, sorry, duplicate. And now we're going to do the same. But this time I need to put the white at the background. So what I need to do is invert, right? Control
Mm-hmm.
I, invert. Once again, I need, if the idea is correct only the background, what I need to do with levels is isolate the white area only at the background, right? Because this is the area where I'm going to apply the adjustments, right?
Mm-hmm.
Select both of them, con uh, merge layers, Control A, select all, Control C, copy, create a new exposure, go to channels, enable the little eye icon, Control B, paste, click on the circle here, and now let's check this. I can control the exposure
Mm-hmm.
in the
Mm-hmm.
back. So what I'm going to do is the opposite. I'm going to add a slightly amount of wash out effect. Can you see?
Yeah.
Like that. It's not
Mm-hmm.
fog, by the way. It's not fog. Yeah. There you go.
I feel big different now.
Yeah, of course. Now I'm going to put it in a group, and I'm going to put this depth correction or depth improvement, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And Xenia, check this out.
Not at all different. Absolutely. This is so natural. So natural. Exactly how it will be actually in the nature. I think so.
Exactly.
No, I think
Exactly.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly how you perceive. It's exactly
Mm-hmm.
how you feel the reality when
Mm-hmm.
you are
Mm-hmm.
in an interior space.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Very
looks more
big
natural,
different.
and especially now let's measure the tension. So enable your black and white. The tension mostly, can you see, is in this area because I have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of highlights in this area. But at the moment that you reduce the exposure there, where is going the tension?
Yeah.
The tension is going now in the
To some
center of the picture.
sofa. Yeah. And for
Exactly, in the
everything
walls
in the
and the
middle.
background, can you see?
And
So
table comfortable.
this technique is not only useful in order to improve the depth, but also is
Mm-hmm.
going to help you to put the attention in the right spot of the image. That
Mm-hmm.
majority of
Mm-hmm.
the time is something close to the center, or like in this example, is the center. Yeah, very nice, right?
Yeah.
I think for interiors is more I don't know, you can feel the improvement, you can feel in a better way, right, when you apply these smart vignetting effect in the foreground and you reduce the contrast in the background. It's completely different, right?
Yeah.
Great, very well. Okay, now the next step that we're going to do is we're going to do a non-destructive merge down. Do you remember the shortcut? Control Alt Shift E,
Mm-hmm.
Control Alt Shift E. That is going to create one single layer with all the previous adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to create a smart object, and I'm going to apply this automatically image auto color. Sometimes the auto color is going to remove a predominant color that you have in the interior. I don't know if you feel, but my interior looks a little bit purple. I don't know if you can feel that. But if not, at the moment that you apply auto color, you are going to see the before and after. And yeah, this is the before, kind of purple, and the after is a
Yeah.
little bit
I see.
more
I
balanced. Yeah,
see. It's a big difference actually.
yeah, yeah.
Really
So
big difference.
sometimes the autocolor the majority of the time the
Mm-hmm.
autocolor I use it as a test in order
Mm-hmm.
to understand if there is some predominant color that I need to correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now that I understand that I can do it by hand, or you can keep it the result that the autocolor gives you. Okay, if you
Mm-hmm.
want to do it by hand, what you need to do is use a selective color and pretty much equalize color per color. It's a little
Mm-hmm.
bit
It's more, yeah,
difficult,
complicated.
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
more work, or
Mm-hmm.
if you prefer the easy way, is just by applying the auto color. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
great. Now the auto color is done. Let's apply something that I call Local color correction. What is local color correction? Yeah, the majority of the time, I know you as a interior designer, you have to be very careful with the colors that you are selecting for your interior,
Mm-hmm.
right? As you can see in this image, pretty much all the colors has the same saturation. It's a desaturate palette.
Mm-hmm.
But I fail. I failed because I completely forgot to customize this wood from here that if you see, if you compare with the other colors, the saturation in this wood is really strong in comparison with the floor or the comparison the carpet or the comparison of the material of the sofa. Can you
Mm-hmm.
see?
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's too much saturated, it's too much red. Probably you're thinking, okay, Santi, it's not a problem, right? You can use the masking ID,
Mm-hmm.
right? There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Now with the selection on, let's use a hue and saturation. And yeah, there you go, let's desaturate. But what is the problem with this technique? Problem with this technique is not respecting the translucency of the glass.
Ah, yeah,
Can
it's
you
true.
see?
It's true. It's true.
Yeah? So
Mm-hmm.
that could be a problem. So
Mm-hmm.
rather than solve that problem in that way, I have a better solution. So with the same hue and saturation, select this little hand icon, okay?
Uh-huh.
And now keep pressing, sample the color that you want to modify, sample the color, and keep pressing the click on the mouse. Now, if you move to the left, you're going to desaturate, and if you move to the right, you are going to
Oh,
saturate.
so well. Mm-hmm.
But actually this, if you pay attention, is also going to affect the parts that are
Mm-hmm.
between of the glass or behind the
Yeah.
glass. Yeah, there you go. And if you do the same, Xenia, but this time you press Control, doing the
Mm-hmm.
same, but this time press Control, you can change the color.
Ho ho.
Very simple. So with this technique, actually,
This I
you can,
didn't use actually. I don't remember now. Mm-mm.
yeah, with this technique, actually, you can create a perfect color for
Mm-hmm.
every single material. If you made a mistake in Corona, don't worry. If you realize when the rendering is finished and you realize, oh my God, I made a mistake with the color of this furniture, this wall, yes, there is a solution how to solve that. Yeah. So as you can see, I don't like this color, so I'm going to desaturate, and I think right now looks more related. Can you see? With the
Actually, in
general
all
color
picture,
palette.
yeah, not only in this object, it's in all the picture work like
In
this.
all the picture,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Because I see the
Yeah,
chairs are changing the color.
exactly. This is going to have a general affectation. Yeah, there
Mm-hmm.
you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can you see? And now
Yeah.
my color palette is perfect because I think that was the only material that I forget to customize properly. The color of the diffuse
Mm-hmm.
was too much red, in my opinion, was too much saturated. But at the moment that I apply this little correction, can you see?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
looks absolutely better. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
good, fantastic. Now I'm going to create another non-destructive merge down, Control Alt Shift E, and it's time to start to play with the atmospheric effect. First of all,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put this hue saturation in this layer. I'm going to put it in a group. I'm going to call this one color correction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, depth correction, color correction, and right now I'm doing the last part of the post-production, so don't forget to convert your layer into a smart object before to apply the filters, right? Okay,
Yes.
now let's go to filters. Of course, you know that I'm a big fan of the bloom and glare, especially for natural lighting
Mm-hmm.
approach is the best. And of course, exactly in the same way that I showed you in the exterior course, we're going to use diffusion. There you go, the diffusion is going to create a blooming layer effect that of course you can achieve in Corona, but in my opinion the diffusion is more accurate because you can select the color easily. You can create a
Mm.
cold diffusion, I don't know, red, any color that you want is very simple to select the colors. In Corona it's a little bit difficult because you need to input a number, right? And it's like guessing. But here is more friendly because you can see the color that you want to introduce. So as I mentioned before, the majority of the time, I like to understand that the light that comes from outside is a little bit cold, okay, a little bit cold.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to, that is the reason why I'm just trying to, yeah, create something like this. Yeah, it's a little bit cold. Yeah,
If
now
we
let's
would like to
play.
create transpiration, it means that we need to create it like another layer and to get some mask, yeah?
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. That is what I'm going to do, exactly.
Ah, sorry.
So,
I just start
yeah,
to think about it and
no, but
uh-huh.
it's great because now you are thinking like I'm thinking. Exactly. For example, if you have too much diffusion in all the
Mm-hmm.
apartment, it's easy, just press OK, but you know that because it's a smart object, you are going to have a mask in order to control that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's exactly in the same way that I think. Yeah. So what I like to do the majority of the time is I don't really like to play with small values here in the size because it's going to look too much compressed the light. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, every single time I prefer to how can I say extend
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more the diffuse effect. You can turn on, turn off,
Yeah, and to
and
see the
see if
big
you're doing
different. The
exactly.
mode is different, everything is different.
Yeah.
I really feel it
So
very strong.
yeah, there you go.
You don't like to use a loop, for example, in Corona
Um,
post-production?
um,
No?
to be honest, the loot for me in depends. The loot has one advantage and one really big disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
The disadvantage is if you're using directly in Corona, you cannot remove in Photoshop. Yeah,
Ah,
you
yeah,
cannot remove
that's true.
because it's destructive. You are going to
Mm-hmm.
save the render directly with the application or the affectation of the loot. That is the disadvantage. And the advantage is when you use the same loot you use inside Photoshop.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to understand that the majority of the time, the loots are going to give you like a really specific color grading results. And the only way that you can play here is only by playing the opacity. And if you're a little bit creative, you can play also, you can change also the blending mode of the loot. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to show you in a moment. I'm going to show you in a moment how you can play with loots inside Photoshop. Okay, so far I'm introducing this. It's working really good. I'm going to
Yeah.
extend a little bit more the affectation because I would like to have like a really, yeah, like that. Yeah, I know that there is too much here, too much here, too much. Don't worry. I'm going to press OK. And because I'm applying a filter to a smart object, the smart object is going to have a mask. Now
Mm-hmm.
you have two options, Xing. You erase, you can erase the excess, or
Uh-huh.
you can invert the mask, like I'm going to do, Control I, invert the mask, take a soft brush,
Uh-huh.
and only paint the necessary. Well,
Uh-huh.
I think in my opinion that is better.
To be honest, I think the same because you have more freedom.
Exactly. You paint the blooming
Mm.
layer only in the areas that you believe the blooming layer is going to affect. Of course, you need sometimes you need also
I select.
to blend it and erase it sometimes, change to black. And we're going to erase a little bit excess. Of course, the lower the opacity, the more smoother the erase. Yeah. I'm going to erase a little bit in the middle here. It's just too much. Yeah. And can you see it looks absolutely seamless. Check that.
Yeah.
Yeah, really nice effect. Yeah. So what I forget to add probably was a little bit more overexposed effect by increasing the glow. Yeah. Only by increasing the glow at 100%, it's going to have that really bright area, like kind of burning outside, but not completely overexposed. You will see.
It's so cool that it is in smart object. You can to change the
Yeah,
things. This is amazing. I
exactly.
really
Yeah,
love
there
it.
you go. Can you see?
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
little bright is really
Yeah.
soft, really, really soft. Yeah. Now let's convert, let's do another non-destructive merge now. Okay, Control Alt Shift V. Let's convert again into a smart object. And right now we can apply, of course, uh, we can apply the lens effect. I'm going to do the loot part at the end. So we can use the new collection, of course, Analog Effects Pro 2. So inside the Analog Effects Pro 2, for example, I have the vignetting tool available, the chromatic aberration tool available. What else I have? Well, many
I
other
don't remember. I
really
have
cool options.
actually this one or not.
Yeah, we use this one also for exterior. I always use the same. Actually, I've
Effects
been
Pro, I
using the
have.
same software for the last, I don't know, 10 years.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, the
I
same.
start to think because I
Yeah.
have them both, but I don't remember exactly by
Yeah. So what I'm
function.
using
Uh-huh.
here is the lens distortion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the lens distortion. That basically you can create this kind of lens distortion
Mm-hmm.
that fish
Fisheye.
fish eye or the other one, the Pincushion effect, yeah, whatever you like it. But of course, I do not recommend to do this, and you need to manually put it in the center because there is no zero value. So you need, with a little bit of practice, you have to put it in the middle of the slider, in the center of the slider, okay? And there you go. It's not going to produce any effect. What I'm going to do is, yeah, I'm going to introduce a little bit of chromatic aberration, probably a little percentage, like 5%. You know that I'm not a big fan of giving numbers to my students. I always tell to my students that everything is based in the visual result, in the visual match.
Mm-hmm.
But here I'm going to do an exception. For images for a 4,000 pixel resolution, right? In order, like for example, the size that you use for delivery for clients, 4,000 pixels is the standard. I'm going to use like 5% of chromatic aberration. And
Uh-huh.
actually, I'm going to choose the chromatic aberration the more, how can I say, the more subtle. I'm not going to use in this scene, I'm not going to use the red and cyan because it's going to look like an 80s picture. Can you
Mm-hmm.
see that?
Mm-hmm. I see.
It's just too much. It's going to look like an error. Right now it's turned off. Right now it's turned on. Also, if I use the green magenta, in my opinion, it's just too much. But if I use the the blue and yellow, check this. It's very subtle.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
very subtle.
This is
Yeah,
soft
yeah. This is very subtle. And please don't use more than 5%. Okay.
for sure.
I'm going to do exactly the same with the defocus. What is going to do the defocus? The defocus is going to smoother your anti-aliasing. The majority of the time, you can realize that it's a render only because the anti-aliasing is just perfect. You know, it's really sharp
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
perfect, right? So in real life, with a real camera and real photos, the anti-aliasing always is a little bit blurred. But of
Mm-hmm.
course, if you add with too much defocus, it's going to look like out of focus.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, that is the reason that for 4,000 pixel images, please you don't use more than five in the defocus.
Okay,
It's just
just
a
for five.
little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just a little bit. Okay. And finally, we can apply the vignetting, but it's kind of useless at this point because I already create the smart vignetting that you mentioned at the beginning. So if you add more vignetting, probably your corners are going to look too much dark. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to use the vignetting this time. Yeah, and that's it. It's okay. There you
Yeah, it's
go.
perfect.
Now let's put all of this in one group. Control G. I'm going to call this one lens effects. Lens effects and filters, I'm going to call it. Yeah. Now let's do the final non-destructive merge node. Control Alt Shift E. And now finally let's compare. Okay, this is the final and this is the before.
Yeah.
Huge
Yeah.
difference.
Huge difference.
Huge
Yes.
difference. Not only in the color correction that we did, but in the way
Mm-hmm.
that the light is behaving. Now let's check it with the black and white filter. This is the final and this is the before. Now
Yeah.
you can easily recognize that before the attention is all over the floor and the walls. But at the moment that I correct that, can you see now the attention in the final is more, how can I say, uniform. It's pretty much attention all over the image, not only the foreground. Especially it's affecting more the center.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there you go. We finished. Yeah. What do you think? Yeah, huge
Absolutely different.
difference.
Yeah, it's different. Not only vibe. It's about realism and realistic. I mean,
Exactly.
and about a lot of another things. Harmony, we
Probably
can to say.
Exactly. Probably I'll told you this before, but one of the best advices that I can give you, Xenia, when you're doing especially personal projects for your portfolio, or only because you want to have fun, you want to express your ideas, you know that every single artist can use personal experience, you know, good experience, bad experience, in order to use as a material for art, right? Is for example why the singers, right? Sometimes singers they introduce, you know, a personal experience in the lyrics of a song, right? Xenia. Also, we can use in our work as an artist because you and I, we are artists. We can express personal situations. So it's not bad if you feel alone, you feel sad, it's not bad. Represent that mood in an interior mode. So you can use that and you can take that as an inspirational, I don't know, mood. And
Mm-hmm.
you can recreate and put it in a render. And actually, this has two benefits. First of all, you are going to create something that you like it. And second, you are going to feel freedom, emotional freedom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not bad. If you feel happy, if you feel, I don't know, if you feel very, very happy, whatever, yeah, you can, you can put that happiness
Oh, I
in the
saw you
work
was
that you're
like, yeah,
doing.
exactly what you are showing now. I
Exactly. You
saw
can
it.
put, yeah, you can
It's
put that
amazing.
happiness, you can put all
Mm-hmm.
that emotion, all that really nice feeling, you can translate into a beautiful image. Could be an exterior, could be an interior. So yeah, it's important. As I mentioned before, as an artist, we can use emotions or personal emotions. It's the most powerful inspirational tool in order to create something.
I
Yeah,
understand what do you mean.
for example, when I was doing this image,
Mm-hmm.
I imagine, having telling my little son a story, in a cabin in the woods because I love to
Yeah,
spend a lot of time in the
it's this
mountains.
vibe.
Exactly. So that is the kind of motivation that sometimes we can use when we are running out of ideas. Yeah. I don't know, probably like 2 weeks ago I have a dream, not like this landscape, but I have a
Mm-hmm.
dream where I spend a lot of time with my son in the mountains. So when I start this project, I was thinking, yeah, probably could be a good idea, right? So I'm going to try to somehow I'm going to try to paint what I saw in my dreams, more or less. I would like to put it in a beautiful picture, and I'm going to introduce this idea about a father and a son telling a story. And actually, I found the 3D models in the Chaos library that comes with Corona. I found there the 3D model of a father and a little son with a book.
Really?
So yeah, it was perfect. Was absolutely
Wow.
perfect. Yeah, it
Wow.
was absolutely perfect. Yeah. So every single time you can think in a situation, you can think in something that would you like to experience, something that would you like to visit, whatever. But that is an interesting way to find inspiration. Yeah. Storytelling, Xenia, is one of the most powerful tools in an interior or exterior rendering.
That's
Right.
true.
For example, for this interior, it was the latest
Oh,
interior
is this? I
project that I
didn't see
created.
actually.
Yeah, this was one of the latest. I was watching. I love these 70 movies
Uh-huh.
from Sweden. I see like
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4 different movies, old movies from Sweden, from
Really?
80s and 90s, and I recognize this color grading in all these movies. It's not the perfect white. It's a little bit
Mm-hmm.
cold. Can you
Mm-hmm.
feel that?
Yeah,
It's a little bit
absolutely.
cold, but it's really nice because it's not a cold that makes you feel sad. Actually, it's a cold or bluish color that looks the image filmic, like the movie. And I was thinking, oh, that's a great inspiration, right? So I bought this scene. Actually, a friend created this scene. I bought this scene for $80 or something like that, and I start to work in my compositions. I start to work in my lighting, in my storytelling. Playing with the depth of field, creating beautiful close-ups. Also, general shots like this one, right? Important to understand how is the interior distribution, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end, I really enjoy this project. I really, really, really enjoy this project because yeah, probably could be like another interior, but I know it's different because in the color approach, in the art direction, in the way that I create the composition is absolutely different. Yeah, and I found this absolutely amazing, beautiful accessory in one of the over the books. A little angel
Mm-hmm.
was really nice. Yeah. So yeah, I think the
Unbelievable.
mo
And the stand that one guy was created actually by himself and for market, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
It's different, for example, when you're doing something for marketing, for a
Mm-hmm.
magazine. Yeah, so yeah, you need to be more careful with the color, right? Everything must look neutral or kind of neutral.
But it's
Well,
amazing.
it's a little bit different. Storytelling definitely is something that I really like to introduce in all my projects. Telling a story is important, but the secret is do not tell the full story. Always leave a part where the people, the audience who is going to see your work, they need to imagine, the story behind this image. Because what is the problem, Maxine? If you tell the full story, it's going to be too much obviously the ending or the finale, the
Mm-hmm.
final, right? It's going to be very, very obviously. So that is the reason that do not tell the full story. You can tell just a little part, or you can tell only the introduction, but not the whole story. Yeah. And probably one of the best examples that I can use for that is this project that I think has 5 or 7 years. Yeah, I think this one. Yeah. In this project, um, was related with a personal moment that I have in my life. But
Really?
this is the story. Yeah. For example, in the first shot, you can see right this airplane in a
Mm-hmm.
very beautiful day with a lot of fog, kind of
Absolutely.
sunny day. Yeah, crash. In the next one, yeah, you can see a light at the background. You can see a light inside the plane. Yeah, probably you are thinking, yeah, there are some survivors, right? There are
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
some survivors. In the next one, yeah, you can see that there are people who is watching for survivors. Yeah, you can see the lanterns here, right? Probably you can. So many people understand that the light from is above probably could be from a helicopter, right? That is looking for a survivor. And in the finally, it's probably the most interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people understand that there is no survivor because the survivor is already dead.
It's
And
like a spirit.
because exactly, and his soul
Mm-hmm.
becomes part of the forest as an
Mm-hmm.
spirit. Yeah, it's a
Mm-hmm.
very nice story, right?
Absolutely.
But actually, what I'm telling you is what the 99% of the people understand when they see this picture. Now, let me tell you the true story behind this. The true story behind this was a personal experience that I have, like more or less 7 years. I was diagnosticated with vitiligo. I don't know if you heard
No.
this illness. Vitiligo, or in Spanish is vitiligo, is a disease that probably causes
Ah.
despigmentation in your skin
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
for some reason that doctors cannot explain. For some reason that doctors
Mm-hmm.
can't explain,
Mm-hmm.
your own cells is going to attack your skin cells. Your defenses are going to attack your skin pigmentation cells, and it's going to destroy the pigmentation. So more or less, I start to have this problem in my face. I start to lose pigmentation on my forehead,
Really?
and yeah, and here in the close to my mouth in this area, and also here I start to suffer. Not so much strong like this, but definitely was visible.
Wow.
My wife at that moment, she showed me how to use makeup. I was using makeup for I think 2 years, and that start to affects me in a mental way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I understand what you mean.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
my mental health was really bad. I start to feel depressed, and I start to feel very bad. Thanks God, I found a doctor in YouTube. I contact this doctor, and I follow up a treatment where basically use a UV lining lamp. Yeah, this UV lining lamp, like this one,
Nice.
is going to help you to repigmentate your skin.
Really?
So this one is going to, I don't know how, but this is going to allow you to, once again, your skin is going to have the real color. Was a
Wow, how
long
it's possible? It's like
process.
a magic.
Not really like a magic because I use a lot of medications and also creams. Also use creams and this light. I have to use this light during 1 year, and I put it like 10 seconds because it was really powerful. 10 seconds
10
directly.
seconds.
Yeah, 10 seconds twice a day, close to my skin, the
Wow.
most closest to my skin.
Wow.
At the end of 1 year, thanks God, I recovered my pigmentation in my skin, and I was right now visible. I'm okay. Okay,
Wow.
but of course, vitiligo. I'm going to have vitiligo for my whole life. So now let me go back to the story. I relate this in the day that the doctor told me that I got vitiligo because it was a sunny day. I went to
Mm-hmm.
the doctor, and the doctor told me, you know what? I have bad news. You have vitiligo. So pretty much I feel like a crash. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So basically, the airplane I represent myself are the crash airplane. In the
Mm-hmm.
second picture,
Mm-hmm.
I was losing faith, but something inside me I represent with the light. Something inside me was hope. I always believe that there is some medication, there is some treatment that is going to help me to have my pigmentation back.
Oh,
So
wow.
this picture represents the faith, a little bit of faith, a little bit of how can I say? I
Believing.
was exactly believing exactly. In the next picture, basically, these lanterns represent friends, family that are helping me to find me again because I was
Mm-hmm.
completely lost. I felt lost. And this picture represents what I felt at that moment. You know, I felt like a crash. I felt lost. I felt I felt you know empty. I felt lost. And in this picture, the lantern is the family that was telling me, you know what, you're going to be okay. You need to find a treatment. Don't worry, everything is going to be fine. You know, they're trying to support me every single time.
It's so
And actually,
wonderful.
the last picture represents when I got the treatment and when I went back to the normality. My skin was good again, was healthy again. I feel like a new being, a new human being. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like
Mm-hmm.
I reborn, and I feel like I start from zero again. The life God gave me a second chance, and I was able to at least visually my skin was again was good. That is the truly story behind
Thank you
this
so much
project.
for this story. It's very
Yeah,
sensitive and I understand
yeah.
how deep is it
So
actually.
so what I'm telling you this is once again with the same idea.
Mm-hmm.
If you are going through good experience, bad experience, whatever, you can use that. But it's not. Of course, you are not going to you are not going to put yourself in the rendering. You know, like a picture of a woman or something like that. No, no, that is too much, obviously. So you can tell any story using objects, using animals, using lighting, using different kind of situations. But what I feel after I create this project, I feel a lot of relief and freedom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
feel a lot of relief and freedom. Yeah. So the majority of the time, when people see my projects, probably they think that I'm a really creative people. Where
You
did
are
you
very
get these
creative.
colors? Where
But
did
it's
you
really
get this
true. You
color?
are you are you are absolutely unbelievable talent. That's why I'm your student.
Yeah, yeah, probably could be true. But actually, what what is helping me also? What is helping me also? Of course, it is my personal experience. Yeah. From time to time, I like to introduce my personal experience. So, for example, this was one of the first projects that I created during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
This was yeah, with the biohazard
Yeah.
suit and everything. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I created this one because I felt completely trapped in my home. I cannot went to even to walk or running because the virus was in the air. All the people was really sick and was really dangerous. Go out and I feel like this. I feel like I was living a really bad dream. And probably I will need to use one of these biohazard suits. Yeah, I so basically I create this, in once again taking as an inspirational um, source a
Mm-hmm.
personal experience. Yeah,
This
so
is
it's
a
not bad.
talent actually that you
Yeah,
understand how to create it. You
exactly. So
have
it's
like a
not bad.
line from your. It's like a one language. You understand this language.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So that is probably one of the best advices that I can give you for interior exteriors. Yeah, and actually, as I mentioned before, when you put it in a render exterior interior, you create something that you are experienced. You're going to feel so much better. Believe me, so much better. Yeah, or there are other projects like this one. Is I only did it because I like it. You know what? It's
Mm-hmm.
only because I would like to have fun. I would like to study the lighting. I would like to create like a new approach in interior design style, or I found an interesting models and I would like to create a beautiful images. Yeah, so it depends on you. But yeah, I highly recommend, Xenia. I highly recommend. Um, as you saw, it's not only about creativity. Also, you can mix it with a little bit of personal touch, and the result is going to be amazing. Yes, that is probably my one of my best advices. One probably that
Thank
could
you.
be one of my best advices for you. That is going to help you a lot.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Welcome, welcome. Great. So now let me save this file for you. Okay, 1 second, please.
And I
I'm
have
going to send.
two questions because I know
Yeah,
that
sure,
today
sure.
is the last our lesson actually.
Yeah.
What I will need to create that to become a certificate for 1 year from Corona Render, or is it possible now or not? How it's going on by these things?
You need a certificate. Okay, so at the moment, I cannot give a certificate because my license as a Corona instructor expires like right now is just 20 3 years ago, and the problem I cannot get a
Really?
new one. I cannot get a new one is because they are not giving renewals in the Corona website.
Really?
Yeah, I was trying to apply to make a renew to have a new license as
Mm-hmm.
instructor, and the people from Corona told me, okay, so you can contact the primary instructors. And I went to the Corona website. Of course, you
Mm-hmm.
can put here, you put primary instructor Corona, because a primary instructor is the one that can give you the certificate and can renew your license.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with these kind of guys, these guys that has these primary certificate. This is only certificate. Also, I was a certificate. When I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about primary, when you're primary, you can give certification for students and you can give certification for instructors. But when you are only instructor, you can only give certification for students. So I asked to these guys if they can help me in order to renew my license.
Mm-hmm.
And from five guys, three told me no, I can't, and the other two they want to charge me £1,500 in order to renew my
Uh-huh.
certification.
So by the
And
payment, you
I
mean, because before
exactly,
you
and
you
I
was actually
and I
certificated. Mm-hmm.
exactly, and I spent for my certification. I think I spent $300 at the moment that I got my certification. So pretty much they are taking advantage of because I needed my renew, and they want to charge a crazy price.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
So
know,
and actually you was paid before, so it's going to be not so big payment
exactly,
the next time.
exactly. So
Mm-hmm.
that was a problem. So if you want a Corona certification, Xenia, what I recommend is go here to the Corona Academy, and
Mm-hmm.
you can take like a little course with these guys. That of course, absolutely not, is not wrong. Actually, it's going to help you because it's going to explain you the technical part of Corona.
Mm-hmm.
Now you control the creative. That's fine. You control the artistic part. You control the creativity part of the process. But actually, you can go to this Corona Academy and you can take a little course with them, and
Mm-hmm.
they are going to give you a Corona certification as a student.
Mm-hmm. I understand
Yeah,
what I mean.
yeah, that is what I recommend right now. Yeah,
Okay, thank you for
yeah,
information. I didn't know that it's going like this. Another question is about homework. Did you see something that I was sent you or no?
yeah, 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 yeah. Of course, I have the feedback. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to give it the. I'm going to put it the link in Skype.
Yep.
Yep, and yeah, here I have the homework. Yeah, by the way, absolutely nice as always. Yeah, I really love this one. I really love this one. Really
This
nice.
stone, this stone, that's what I said. I created by myself, and that's why he looks so ugly.
Oh, this one. I think,
Yeah.
Xenia, I think the tree I was about to mention, probably the tree,
Mm-hmm.
change it a little bit because I think looks kind of, no, I want to say like the geometry is bad, but I think
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of, no, I don't know, this part is not looking like too much natural.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's only a suggestion. Okay, talking about the homework, really nice homework, really nice close up, and actually really nice material in the fireplace. Congratulations, really,
Thank you.
really cool effect. But actually, the close up now looks even better. Yeah, I love the reference. cool reference. You always love the pink and blue. I know that in the
Yeah.
previous homeworks. Yeah, but definitely the how you translate into the interior space was really nice. I really love. I love the fact that you put also the purple here you have on the left. Also you put it here on the left. You are using the light blue. Also you're using the light sorry. You're using the light blue at the bottom because it's a bright color, so it's not going to make your image look dark. And of course, the attention is going to go there, you know, to the whole um, center of the image, and that looks pretty nice. Pretty nice. I really like the combination of this color. And this one also I really like it. It's a classic night mood, right? It's a
Mhm.
classic commercial night mode. Really nice, really nice. I really like the flare. It's not really strong. It's not really soft, and actually it's not like a star shape, right? Because the majority of the time people they don't blur it and you can see like a perfect star right in the glare and that makes looks fake in my opinion. Yeah, but this one looks really nice. I love the saturation from outside, by the way. It's a really nice touch of blue. It's not saturated, you know, it's not like a saturated blue, it's not a strong blue, but it's really nice, really nice. What is my suggestion in this one,
Mhm.
Xenia, is in Photoshop that now you understand how to control the color. I'm going
Mhm.
to show you right now. Just let me show you. Just decrease a little bit the greens. Let me show you what I'm talking about
Mhm.
because I thought the greens looks a little bit too much saturated in this image. The
Mhm.
ones that are in the background, these ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you remember the technique that I showed you today? Take your hue and saturation.
Mhm.
Check the little hand icon. Sample the green color and move it a little bit to the left. Check that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Looks better.
Check the before
Mhm.
and check
Mhm.
the after.
Mhm. Mhm.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Better?
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just a slightly correction, but definitely it's changing the way that the light is working outside. Because at the moment that I watched, the first time that I watched the homework, okay, it looks absolutely great, but the green, in my opinion, looks too much. The light is affecting too much. It's
Mhm.
supposed to be night, right? It's supposed to be evening, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So the light is not going to be so much strong in order to
Extra.
create too much highlights in the grass, right?
Moon will never to get so much light
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
But
Mhm.
it's actually it's very simple to correct. Now you know how to do it. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
That is my only uh, that is my only recommendation and feedback for this image. Everything else absolutely nice.
And close up was fine.
Absolutely.
Okay, this is important because after I will start the course, your course, I mean, with
Yeah.
again a little bit more with close ups and all these things.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
super.
Good. Yeah. Looks really nice. Yep. That is basically feedback. Daylight perfect. Well, in daylight, probably the glare could be a little bit. If you're using artificial
Mhm.
lights, probably could be a little bit more stronger because in daylight you have the perfect exposure, so the light is going to look more powerful.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
probably you can add a little bit more, or you can try it also by remove it.
Uh
Let's see
huh. Okay.
which of both is going to work better.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Once again, here probably change slightly the color of the grass. The color of the grass outside looks like the I like to say as a joke, I like to say
Mhm.
this
Mhm.
radioactive green.
Yeah.
It's like a radioactive green. Can you
Too
see that?
much.
Yeah. So once again, check your hue and saturation. Select your little hand icon, and this time I'm going to press Control on the keyboard. I'm going to try to make it like looks more natural, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Mhm.
There you go. Also, you can decrease the lightness if you want. Yeah. There you go. Can you see? Natural. Now let's see the before and after.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Now you can feel the excess of saturation in your
Absolutely.
image.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I can feel the excess of
Mhm.
saturation. Yeah,
Nice.
that is the only detail.
Mhm.
Everything else looks absolutely great, absolutely fine. Yeah, that is the only detail about your
Okay. Thank
home.
you very much. I understand.
Yep, welcome, Xenia. Now, give me 1 minute, please. I'm going to load here in WeTransfer. I'm going to send you the file. Please remember that you only have 7 days in order to download the